All right. Today's topic is simple, yet it seems to be one thing that everyone dreads the most when getting started with a fat loss diet or any sort of weight loss diet. And that's how to track progress. And I suppose it's actually the tracking itself that gets people the most stressed out, because when you first start a weight loss diet, you know, I know for myself and damn near most people, you're self-conscious. You're not sitting here like, yeah, look at me, I have fat to lose, right? It's a little bit difficult, and sometimes it can be a little uncomfortable. But I would say that if you are tracking your progress throughout your diet, you are much more likely to see success, because then you know what you're doing is either working or not working, right? How are you supposed to know if you're getting better at something without some feedback, right? So that feedback coming through tracking your progress is how you know, okay, I can make changes to what I need to make changes to, or what I'm doing is working great and I need to stay on the path that I'm on. So the very first way that I really have all my clients do is progress pictures. Okay, progress pictures are the easiest by far, because they take 2 seconds, and to me they show the most. Now, a progress picture doesn't require you hopping on the scale. You're not doing your measurements, nothing like that. It's simple. For progress pictures, usually that brings up some stress or anxiety with people. And the first thing that I would say is, one, if you don't have a coach, these progress pictures are for you. You don't have to sit there and post them for the world to see. Those are for you. And you can look back, and you will really greatly look back. Every single person that I've had lose a bunch of weight has thanked me for the fact that we did our progress photo in the beginning, because you can look back and say, wow, look how far I've come. This is amazing. And I'm really happy I did that. Okay. And also, from if you're working with a coach, it is extremely important to have progress pictures, because the body can tell you a whole lot more than a scale can, right? It can tell me whether or not you're holding onto muscle, where you hold your fat. And from a business aspect, if your coach is a really good coach, you would like them to coach for a long time. If you have progress pictures where you have a great transformation that they can use to help their business, that keeps them being a fitness coach or a nutrition coach for longer, because what do people want when they want to lose weight? They want the progress picture person. They want the transformation. They want to be able to lose weight and feel really good. So doing that is huge for any coach. What I have people do is progress photos should be recorded every 2 to 4 weeks. 2 weeks is a little short, but you can definitely do it depending on the client. But once a month for sure. At the very minimum, once a month, you should be doing your progress photos. You get one picture from the front, side, and back. And I like to place the camera in front of a window for best lighting. If you can put it on the windowsill, even better. You just want to keep it consistent. Uh, Speaking of consistency, it should be done in the same clothing for the most part. Like the article of clothing, it doesn't have to be the exact same one. But for guys, I tell them, like, hey, boxer briefs or boxers or whatever. If you don't have those, short shorts are fine. You need to be able to see your legs, see your abdomen, chest, arms, everything. That way you can kind of tell where you're holding your fat, all that kind of stuff. Girls, bathing suit or underwear. Either one works. You don't have to sit there and grab your skimpiest thing you got, but you do need to make sure that, again, you can see your legs, you can see your stomach, you can see your arms, you can see chest, you can see everything where you're holding your fat. And again, this should be done to show progress, not to be sexy or inappropriate. If they are for yourself, go ahead, be sexy, do your thing. But if you're working with a coach, what you want to do is obviously stay professional as you possibly can. No inappropriate photos. Obviously, no nude photos. It's business. And progress pictures are great because, again, they take 2 seconds and you can really see a difference. The second one is body measurements, which I also have people do about every 2 to 4 weeks. You want to measure your arms, your chest, waist, hips, and both thighs. You can do a bunch of other ones. You can go your shoulders, neck, calves, forearms. You can do a bunch, but that's what I have people do. It's really basic, and you don't want to be flexing, no sucking in, just relaxing. And ideally, you want to take them at a consistent time. So that would be, it's just like when you hop on a scale in the morning, or when you do your progress pictures. You want to do that. I'd say wake up in the morning, use the restroom, and then do your body measurements, right? That way, oh, I've been fasting for hopefully 8 hours, haven't eaten anything, and I know I haven't eaten anything for a long time. So this is when it's most consistent. But if you take your measurements at the end of the day, when you've already eaten 3 meals, your waist might be a little bit bigger because you're bloated from eating food, like just plain and simple. And I've seen people get really upset about that because they'll take their measurements at the end of the day. And the first time they took it in the morning and they're like, oh my gosh, I gained an inch on my waist. What's happening? And it's as simple as making that mistake of like, when you first did your measurements, wasn't any food in your stomach. And then you did your second measurement, you had a bunch of food in your stomach. Like, it's simple as that. Simple mistakes, but it can really get people down mentally and get really down on themselves and be like, oh, I didn't make progress. When in reality, it was just a simple mistake. This is my second favorite tracking method, right behind pictures, because it can tell you a lot about how your body's responding to your diet and exercise. So if you're doing a strength training program, which you probably should be, it can tell you if you're holding on to muscle, right? Or if you are starting to hopefully lose some fat in certain areas, and maybe where your genetics would lie in terms of, maybe you're genetically, your mom and your dad had big legs, so you're going to have big legs, or wide hips, or skinny hips. We see people, everyone's different, everyone's unique. You see some guys with big barrel chests and other guys with sunken chests, or some guys have big arms, some guys have little arms, some girls have really wide hips, some girls have narrow hips, right? This is a great way to get a better understanding of, okay, this is where my body is kind of losing fat, and where it's holding on to muscle. Number 3 is scale weight. Okay, so I go back and forth with the scale. It's the most popular way of tracking progress because most people have a scale at their house. But I tell people this is no more important than your measurements or your pictures. It's just an easier way to track. You hop on, you hop off. Super quick and easy, right? Now, it does tend to get in people's heads a lot because they think, oh man, I didn't lose weight this week, or I didn't lose weight, from 2 days ago. What am I doing wrong? And in reality, from a third party perspective, it's the data that we need to be able to make changes to get the result we want. But for you, it's much more personal because you're the one hopping on the scale. It's your weight. And it's like, oh, I'm so bad, right? I tell people, hey, the scale, if mentally you can handle the scale, I have them weigh themselves every other day or every day, even sometimes, because it helps us understand whether what we're doing is correct or incorrect, right? Especially if we're on a fat loss diet. If you're able to go 2 weeks and you didn't lose any weight, that means we're wrong on either your calories or your energy expenditure, and we can make changes. It is my least favorite way to track progress, but I still have people do that because it is useful. But again, for people's mental health, it does tend to be kind of like a bugaboo where it's just like, it just gets in your head. So scale weight's number 3. Number 4 is how your clothing fits. Now, I love this one, but it seems to be something that doesn't get tracked very often, which is okay because you kind of want to see some progress before you try it. But like putting on an old pair of jeans, I absolutely love this, right? Let's say you try on a pair of jeans that you haven't worn in a few years because they just don't fit anymore. Maybe you try them on, for when you first start your diet, and then you wait for a month, you try them on again. You will be amazed at the difference in how they fit. Now, maybe they don't fit yet. That's okay. We're not going to freak out. But by the end of your diet, we want to see the big difference, in how your clothing fits versus how it did before. That tells me, okay, bodies are changing. And ideally, you want, when you're going out with your friends and you're living your normal lifestyle, these are the clothes you're wearing. And you feel good when you're able to fit into a pair of jeans that you haven't worn for 3 years. I don't care who you are. You feel really, really good, really confident, and you're wearing the hell out of those jeans. So I really love a good clothing fit measurement / progress tracker. And then last, this gets forgotten a ton, but strength progressions. Okay. It's not sexy because, again, it's not the scale and it's not a progress picture. But if you are trying to lose fat, most of the time you're going to want to retain muscle or build muscle if you're brand new to the gym. And so when you're tracking strength progressions and you're in the gym, you're doing your workouts, if you're lifting the same weights over and over and over again, your body just becomes adapted, or your body adapts to that weight. And it's no longer a stimulus that's challenging enough to elicit muscle growth, right? So let's say, for example, I was doing a bench press and I had a 45-pound plate on each side and I'm doing my chest press. I do, 3 sets of 10. If I'm still lifting that same weight a month later, my body it has adapted to that weight, and it is no longer as hard for me to do the 3 sets of 10 with 45 pounds on each side, right? So now it's pretty easy. Your muscles, they need to be challenged in order for them to have a great enough stimulus to grow, right? So what you need to do is, okay, last week I did, 3 sets of 10 with the 45 on each side. It was tough but challenging. It was good. Next week I'm going to put a 5 pound on each side, and I'm going to go 3 by 10. And maybe I get 10 reps for the first 2 sets, and then the last set I only get 8 reps. I go, ooh, okay, that was really challenging. You wait until you get, next week after that. All of a sudden now I can do 3 by 10 again. Perfect. Time to move up in weight. You don't have to add 25 pounds or 45 pounds. Just add a 5 pounder, add a 10 pounder. Make those, challenge yourself again. And if you track your weights, you'll know, okay, this is how hard it was. I did, 3 sets of 10, and it was maybe a 7 out of 10. It was challenging, but I definitely had a few reps left in the tank. Next week I'm gonna go up, because if you track it, you're sitting there, you have your notes to look back on, and you can push yourself. And that's how you build muscle in the first place. You don't build muscle by doing exercises that are easy. You build muscle by doing exercises that are challenging in the right rep ranges, and allowing yourself to rest and recover and eat healthy foods. Okay, so that should be it for tracking progressions. There are other ways to do this, but these were the ones off the top of my head that I have people track when I'm coaching them. So give this a try, and remember, if you don't track your progress, that doesn't mean you won't have progress. But shoot, 9 times out of 10, when I see people in the gym not tracking their progress, they're the same people who will come in and they'll hit it super hard for like a month. And then all of a sudden they start to die off, and it's like, okay, I see them twice a week. Now once a week. Now I haven't seen them for a month, 2 months, 3 months. And they come back in because they're all motivated again. They're like, oh yeah, I fell off. I'm going to hop on it again, and I'm going to go 6 times a week, 7 times a week, go crazy. They don't track their progress, and they essentially yo-yo workout, just like yo-yo dieting, where they're on it. Oh, I'm killing it. Lost 20 pounds. I feel great. This is wonderful. They go on vacation, and then they decide, oh, life's kind of busy, and yo-yo dieting, going up, down, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight, right? So for people who track their progress, those people tend to have way greater chances to succeed with not just losing the weight, but keeping the weight off. So, if you have any questions on how to track progress, anything else like that, let me know in the comments. I hope this is helpful for some people, and have a great day.